Pie Week continues with another delicious, scrumptious, decadent recipe.
Top 3 week of the year, Pie Week is. And joining us now is Amy Moriarty. She's the owner of bakingwithsugarandspice.com, and we're making a Southern-style pecan pie, but we're tweaking it a little bit. It's more like a perfectly perfect pecan pie.
Perfectly pleasing.
Perfectly pleasing.
Yes.
There's some tastes of England in there.
A little bit.
Let's call it a global pie. It's a global pecan pie.
I like it. I like it.
How do we start?
So I've got my pie dough, my crust dough, and people get really nervous about crust. It's really not
I
anything
get nervous
to
about baking in general.
Really?
So, yeah. So I need to learn a lot from you.
It's really very easy. So when we're rolling out our pie crust, you always want to start in the middle and roll outward.
Can I try that?
Absolutely,
That looks like
please
fun.
do. Start right in the middle.
And Amy,
Yes,
that's
roll
it's
outward.
a marble rolling pin. That's better than wood in your opinion?
No, like I
You know,
really...
it's everybody's preference. I like marble because it stays cool. It's a natural stone, and it's got some weight to it.
That makes sense.
All right, can you mess this up? Is there a way to fail?
You can, but
All right, how am I doing then?
you're doing fabulously.
I'm pretty impressed right now.
Okay, good. What's next after this?
So after this, we just get it rolled out to 2 to 3 inches larger than our pie plate, and then we're gonna pop it in there.
And then start filling it up with deliciousness.
We are.
Okay. How much more do I have
Okay.
to do? I'm not sure what it should look like.
Well,
It
there's your
doesn't
pie
have to
plate
be
right
perfectly
there.
round, so I'll just finish it up for you if you want.
So 2 to 3 inches bigger than that.
And that's perfect.
See?
Nice work.
Thank you so
Awesome
much.
job.
All right.
So listen, if this ever doesn't work out,
I think you have a future in
I
baking.
see a future.
I don't know if anyone would eat it.
So one of the easiest ways to transfer a pie crust is roll it right around your rolling pin,
That's a good tip.
Oh, yeah.
and then pop it right into your pie plate.
Look at that dough rolled out. That's nice. I do say so myself.
Perfection in a plate.
Perfectly pleasing perfection. We could go all day with the peas. All right, what's next?
So then we're just going to trim down the outside of our pie crust. We want it to be a little bit further out than our pie plate edge, maybe about 3/4 of an inch.
What do you do with your excess that you cut off there?
It depends. If I'm making a pumpkin pie, I may just re-roll the little bits into a ball and use a cutter to do leaves or some other kind of decoration to put on top.
You know what my grandmother used to do? She used to re-roll all that pie crust when she made her apple pies and make little cinnamon tasty bits and cinnamon roll-ups. Oh, I would eat a pound of those in one sitting.
So you want this dough for cinnamon
I
tasty
really
bits?
want to make a cinnamon
Okay,
tasty
well,
bit.
I'll leave it for you. So then, the best way to get a crimp, you just fold it right underneath. Do you want to try that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you just fold that right underneath.
Okay. And crimp it?
Well, get it underneath first, and then we can crimp it, and it's very
Okay.
easy.
All right.
And when you crimp it, when you're going to go around, you just like that.
Oh, and that's how you get the fancy look.
I'll do the folding, Seth can do the crimping.
Okay.
Yeah, because I want to see how good you are at that.
Like
All
so?
right. Gosh,
Perfect.
the flour gets everywhere. Don't wear black when you're baking. Wear an apron.
So how do we make the filling? What goes into
So
it?
I've got 4 eggs. Right here in the mixer, I've got 4 large eggs. I've got 9 ounces, which is about 3/4 of a cup of Lyle's Golden syrup. It's from England, and it's a natural cane syrup. With that, I've got a cup of sugar. It's about 7 ounces of sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I've got an ounce and a half, which is about 3 tablespoons of melted butter. I've got a teaspoon of vanilla, and here's where the Southern comes in. I've got a little bit of whiskey in there.
A little bit of whiskey, all
A
right.
little bit of booze. And it bakes out, but it gives a really nice full flavor.
Huh.
So we just get that
Mix them
so
all
that
up.
it's all blended.
Easy enough. And these are pretty, it looks like a very wet ingredients right there.
There.
Now, Amy, you were telling me that pecan pie or pecan, whatever you like to say, is one of the easiest pies you can make.
In my opinion, it absolutely is, because you just throw everything right in the mixing bowl.
I guess there's not much to cut. Like when you're making an apple pie, you have to cut a bunch of stuff up. One less step, you don't have to cut anything.
But you already toasted the pecans?
I did. I choose to toast my nuts before I mix them in because it just brings out the flavor, gives a little bit more of a nutty and a little richness.
Except you have to watch it. I always burn them because I go away 2 seconds later and then I've burned my nuts.
So usually what I do is as I'm preheating my oven, I put them in there so they can kind of come up to temp, and every couple minutes I just kind of stir them around with a little wooden paddle.
Oh, there you go.
As you're preheating, that's good.
but you do definitely have to keep an eye on it. So I dumped in 6 1/4 ounces. It's about 1.5 cups of pecan halves. And I'm just going to fold them in here and mix it.
This is an easy pie.
It is, and normally I would say after we get our crust in the pie plate, before I start making my filling, I'd pop it back into the fridge for a little bit. As soon as I'm done mixing my filling together, I would take it out and I would pour this in. Do you want the honors?
Sure.
I think you do.
How is Seth's crimping? Good?
Seth's crimping is great.
Thank you very much.
Is there
Amy.
whipped cream involved in this when you eat it?
Oh, there always can be
You can
whipped
put
cream.
whipped cream on anything. That's
Yes,
the best
you
part
can.
about
I
it.
just didn't know if you had any. That's why I asked.
Well, Amy, we're going to pop this up in the oven, and we're going to finish it off in a little bit, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to Mass Appeal. So it's Pie Week, and we're back with Amy Moriarty. We made a perfectly pleasing pecan pie. That's a hard one. I want to make sure I say it.
The most pleasing part is that we're going to eat it, right?
Absolutely.
But where we left off before earlier was basically the uncooked pie crust with the pie inside that was ready to go in the oven.
Right. And with pecan pie, the Seth's crust was actually perfect, his crimping job. You want your crust to be a little bit higher because with pecan pie it's sloshy, and on your way to the oven you don't want it to pop out of there.
No, you don't. That's
And
true.
we're going to start it in the oven at 400 degrees. Do that for about 15 minutes. Lower your temperature to 300 degrees. About another 30 to 35 minutes. When you're ready to pull it out, you'll know it's done when the edges of the pie are kind of puffed up and the center is jiggly like Jell-O, but not liquidy.
All right, and
Now,
then
I
it's
wonder
ready.
why you changed the. I wonder why you changed the temperature. Is it science? Let's just go with
You know,
science.
You wanna make
science.
it
Everything with baking
golden?
is science. Let's say that.
Method to the madness. All right, and then we cut it.
Cut it up. That's
So-
the important part. Now, while we serve up this pie, let's talk about our question of the day.